have a question, please use the raised hand function and introduce yourself. We're going to start off today with David Cobb. David, go ahead.
Hey, Bobby, it's David Cobb from CBS Sports. I was curious, when you were at Romulus to recruit E.C. Matthews, what kind of stood out to you about the program Nate Oates was running and the coach that he was?
Well, I think it was the time that Dan and I spent with Nate, just talking about basketball. Instantly, you could see his passion for the game and just his knowledge of the game, how much he loved talking about basketball, and then just watching how he conducted practices.
Set up such a nice shot for Bobby.
What's that? Okay.
Please mute yourself. Thank you.
Yeah, just how Nate ran his practices, conducted it was high level stuff. You know, he really had a lot of intensity. He the practice had great structure, and you could just tell, you know, he was a gifted coach.
All right, next up, Colin Harmon.
Hey, Bobby. Hope you're well. Colin Harmon, ABC 15 Sports. Just curious now, with the journey that Nate's been on for the last 11 years, kind of what goes through your head when you see, you kind of found him from the start, and of all people, he's going up against your brother for a spot in the title game. Yeah, I mean, it's, Nate has really, we've stayed in touch over the years. He's, I've been tracking his career very closely. We had 2 terrific years together at Buffalo. We took a lot of pride in building that program. And when I left and took the job at Arizona State, I was just super impressed with where Nate was able to continue to take the Buffalo basketball program, and not surprised at the success he's had at Alabama. And I've experienced playing in the Final Four, know what that feels like. So for people that I care about and that have been good to me, I want them to have that experience. So I'm sure he's going to soak it in, and I know he wants it badly for his players. And it's just exciting. I'm very happy for Nate.
AJ Holiday.
Hey, Coach. AJ Holiday with CBS 42. What excites you most about this matchup, and what's something that people should know about your former assistant, Coach Nate Oates, and your brother?
Well, I mean, it's crazy how things, come full circle in life sometimes. As Dan was building the Rhode Island program, Nate was, a very successful high school coach in Detroit, and somehow all our lives came together, in that moment. And you fast forward it now a bunch of years, and now here they are, going head to head in the Final Four. So it's 2 high school coaches that began their career in that way, and just really learned the game and became great coaches. And so that storyline is very impressive. It should give inspiration to a lot of people, a lot of young coaches out there that are trying to grow and develop and dream about one day, having the opportunity to do something special like, my brother and Nate Oates will do this weekend.
Next up, Cooper.
Hey, Coach. Cooper and Sun Devil Daily. This season has seemingly been one of the craziest college basketball seasons, in recent memory. But it seems like UConn has, kind of been on the top for most of it. What have you kind of seen from your brother in this tumultuous season?
Well, he's just, I think, done a fantastic job of just, keeping his team sharp throughout the year. They've been competitive. They've been dominant. To lose the players that he lost to the draft, and then to be able to go out into the portal and through high school players and rebuild that team so quickly and put them in a position to be where they are now, I think is a testament just to, his abilities as a coach, the commitment to and the standards that UConn basketball has. And just, it's been special, to see what they did against Illinois in that stretch. I mean, I'm not sure I've seen something like that happen in a game of that magnitude, except maybe to me, my freshman year at Duke when we got pummeled by UNLV. So, but I don't really want to talk too much about that.
Kevin.
Hey, Coach. Kevin Malater, Arizona PBS. I want to know, what are your thoughts on a weekend like this, where obviously you have your brother playing in the home state that you now coach at, Coach Nate Oates coming back, but also guys like DJ Horn getting a chance. What does this weekend mean to someone like you that you've been involved with in either the coaching realm or working alongside with?
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly a lot of subplots with me, and with the Final Four being here in Phoenix, it even adds more to it. But the reality is, I'm grateful and I'm thankful for having the opportunity to coach with my brother for 3 years, to coach with Nate Oates for 2 years, to have had DJ Horn in my life for 2 years, and what he did for me at Arizona State, helping us get to an NCAA tournament. And there's Joel Justice and Levi Watkins that help at certain stages build the Arizona State basketball program, that are assistants at NC State. So I'm just happy for everybody that they're in this moment and they have a chance to be on the stage. And they're all people that I care deeply about, and I'm very thankful that they're in this moment.
Next up, Gavin.
Gavin Keefe from the New London Day in Connecticut. You went through the journey as repeating as a player, and what's it like trying to watch Dan try to do it, and why is it so difficult to repeat?
Well, it's you're a target, first of all. It can be a draining season as teams, every game you're going to play as a repeating champion, you're going to get targeted. It's going to be every team's Super Bowl when they play you, and just that could weigh on you. But I think for Dan to have this kind of success he had in the regular season, once this postseason tournament hits, you could kind of take it to a different level. I think that's what we were able to do in my back-to-back year. We knew what was right in front of us. It was our goal when we started our season. And there were a lot of months for us to get to March where the Final Four is in front of you, the NCAA tournament. So when you can taste how close it is, you step it up and take it to a different level. And I think that's what I've seen in a majority of the games, that I've watched with UConn in this NCAA tournament.
Lucas.
Hey, Coach. DJ Horn is having a full circle moment right now, going back home, playing for NC State, and now finishing the season here in Arizona, where he spent the last 2 years. What are your thoughts on the success he's having, and is he a player that you kind of expected to go on a run like this?
Yeah, I mean, DJ, when we brought him in from Illinois State, we saw how productive he had been, and I thought his game would translate moving up a level from the mid-majors, and he didn't disappoint. DJ was a guy we never promised anything to when he came into our program, and he fought for it. He was always kind of the underdog, and those are the type of guys I really relate well to. And he wanted to earn everything, and no one ever handed him anything. When he was playing prep basketball years ago, he wasn't a heavily recruited player, but he's continued to work and get better every season. So, I'm not surprised that he's, taken, another step, particularly late in the season, how he's come on. And he did that for us in the TCU game. I still remember him hitting a step back three straight on to tie the game late in the game versus TCU in the NCAA tournament. And for us, and unfortunately we, lost late in that game, but he was great to me, and just excited for him to have this opportunity. I told him though that, he was supposed to come back here and play in the state of Arizona, not for another team. That's not how this was supposed to work out.
Blake.
Hey, Coach. Blake Neiman, Sun Devil Source. And on the note of DJ, are there some specific memories that you have of just his character, that he's really stepped up into a leadership this year at NC State, to kind of spark this run, and that you knew he could enable those qualities just through his time at Arizona State?
DJ's a fighter. He believes in himself. Like a lot of small guards, he plays with a chip on his shoulder. When he gets going and gets starts making a couple shots, man, you better look out, because he's a dangerous guy, because he's I think his confidence grows, his belief grows, and this type of guy that could just run points off for you in a hurry. But I think it's his whole story, and just, you know, like I had touched on earlier, just being overlooked maybe, and just being a guy that's persevered through a lot of adversity, and it's the kind of guy you want to go to war with. You just you believe that, you know, he's playing winning basketball. He's going to make plays to help you win.
Shane.
Hey, Coach, another question about DJ. He's mentioned how his time here at ASU really helped him grow into the player he is now. Can you just point out some things that you saw him grow in these 2 years at Arizona State?
Well, I mean, we gave him the freedom to be who he is, and to give him the opportunity to showcase the best parts of his game. I think we work on player development. DJ's gotten better every year, and he got better this year, you know, going to North Carolina State. But I see him playing, you know, at a really good pace. You know, you can tell all the basketball he's played at this level it's all coming together. He's making good decisions out there, and he's just letting the game come to him. So he's got, you know, I think his IQ and his knowledge of the game, and in addition to his skill set, has really, you know, all come together. And that's a process you go through as a player that takes years to get to that point. So,
Richard.
Coach, Richard Simons, Fox 10. You've obviously had a lot of success in this Final Four. As a player, what's it like, you know, for you to look back? What's your favorite memory from this time, and what's it like to kind of see these kids have this opportunity, knowing that if you have a good showing here, this could change your life forever?
Yeah, it is. It's life changing, and it's you know, I think for me, it's hard to pinpoint one, you know, memory. You know, losing to UNLV my freshman year by 30, and then coming back and beating them and UNLV was undefeated that season, and it was one of the great upsets in the history of the Final Four. And winning our first championship, standing on that podium, there's no greater feeling than that. The next year, the Fab Five, and all the hoopla around that, and then going back to back. So there were a number of great moments and things that I'll remember the rest of my life. So that's what's going to happen this year for somebody. Someone's life is going to change and experience something extremely special.
Scott.
All right, Coach. Scott Sanduli, Devil's Digest. So obviously, Dan, trying to do what you did back with Duke is repeating. It doesn't happen very often in the sport. You talked how hard it is earlier on. But my question is, has Dan kind of sought out any advice from you, kind of like the target on your back mentality, or also like what kind of things do you feel have prepared Dan to put him in a position to where he can pull off something that doesn't happen in the sport very often?
Well, I think Dan really has, you know, tunnel vision. Like, there's going to be a lot of people pulling at him. There's going to be media. There's going to be, you know, a lot of hoopla surrounding this event. But I think he is, you know, he stays in the moment and focuses on what's important, and that's getting his team ready to play this weekend. And you know, once that game starts, he's going to be ready to go, and that's what I know about him. He's amazing about his preparation and getting his team ready. And I'm just here. I talked to him yesterday, and hopefully I will be able to connect with him and see him. And you know, we're the host school, so he's got free reign to use any of the facilities here. You know, so he's the red carpet treatment here at Arizona State for my brother.
Bruce.
Yeah. Hey, Bobby. Hi, Coach. Wondering, you know, following up on Dan, I know you guys talk a lot, obviously. What was it like in the off season? He lost those guys, like you were saying. Did he doubt it at all? I mean, everybody loses a lot of guys this day and age. You certainly had to deal with it as well. What was that like? And was he so confident that he could get him to this point again?
Well, I think he had a championship foundation in place when you have guys like Newton at the point guard spot, Klingon, who was going to get an expanded role with Sonogo graduating. Caravan is a really underrated player. So he had three, you know, really good players coming back that had just gone through the championship cycle. And then I think where he really excelled was understanding what types of players he needed to add in the transfer portal and what he was going to have coming in. The kid Castle is a really good addition as a freshman. He's super athletic, good defender, kind of replaced what Andre Jackson did for his team last year. And then the kid Spencer was, is an elite shooter and moves without the basketball. So he brings a different dimension to their team. So it was, I think it was A+ for Dan in roster construction and what he was able to put together, considering what he lost to graduation and to the NBA.
Got time for 2 more questions. First up, Nick.
Bobby, talking about being the host school and obviously all these connections. I know that's, hear you that it's a lot of pride there. I also know how competitive you are. Like, does it drive you a little bit nuts to have to be talking about all these other people and not be a part of it yourself?
Not really. I mean, I've done it, and I'm disappointed for our season, and I'm just hungry to get back and put ourselves in a position to go to the NCAA tournament again, like we've done 2 years ago and in the past year. I'm close to the Final Four, literally, because it's here. Because I'm a few minutes from where they're going to have the event, but I also feel like there are people that I've been connected to that I'm extremely happy for, that I've worked with, that are doing it. So in the back of my mind, as far as it might appear that I am from getting to a Final Four as a coach, that's a part of what drives me. I think there's a lot of things that go into doing the job that I do and the relationships you have with your players and want to do the best job you can for them. But in the personal goal part of this, certainly trying to get to that point is something that is a dream for anybody in my position that does what I do. So I'm going to be as hungry as I can to try and do that at some point in my career.
Last question, Michael.
Hey, Coach. Michael Caratenuto, Pitchfork Lunch. Good to see you. When you talked about obviously repeating as tough as it is, because I know after the first championship, like you said, I mean, in the regular season, you're everybody's national title game, Super Bowl. But when you get to back to the tournament, like you made that run as a player, what's the toughest part about that from a player standpoint to not get, too like just tense and everything has to be great. But from a coaching standpoint, obviously, I know I've talked to you before, when we've talked to you before, a coach can't freak out. What's the biggest challenge going through a tournament in trying to repeat, but from both sides to kind of still be even keeled, but knowing that, obviously it is, win or go home?
Well, I mean, there's a part of this, which is human nature to try and protect something. And so you would worry about in a game where things are going against you with some adversity that you might get uptight and say now, well, I was supposed to be the winner here. And you're the hunted all season, and can you flip that and kind of more be the hunter and try and attack this moment? And I think that's what my teams did. We didn't really think about what we were trying to protect something, to defend something. We were attacking to try and go get another championship, and that's what I've seen from UConn. Throughout the tournament, as dominant as they've been, they haven't even allowed a team to get close, which is scary because, in both of my championships, there were games that we could have lost in each of those seasons, in each of those tournaments. And we were able to, whether it's Leitner hitting a game shot or a game-winning shot, or, making some clutch plays down the stretch to beat like a UNLV in the Final Four. There was always like a really close game that we had to win. And UConn has been so dominant that they haven't even had that in 2 years. So it's been scary how good they've been. And, I hope that Dan can keep it up here through the next couple of days. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
All right. Thank you.